I guess this goes back to what I also said in the beginning, that I've always been interested in the marginalized, the always taken for granted. And also because I come from a community that has always been marginalized. I mean, I was born in the Eastern Cape my dad was a mine worker who got retrenched, and then he was one of the poorest people in the village. And no one really saw much of him or thought much of our family as a whole. And then I went to Nqaba, again, staying in a farming community, staying in Khayelitsha with a friend of my mom, and living in a shack and all those things. So I was always in a part of society that isn't seen as important, seen as if it adds value, although we do add value and we are important. And I was always bothered by the fact that we are always invisible. And I then decided that for my art, I am going to make the working class visible. I'm going to talk about things that we often brush aside and not want to think about, but they happen. So my art is mostly about my lived experiences, coming from a working class farming background, domestic working parent, living in a shack, I think I said that, and also being a woman and a black woman in all of this, because it's like, if you think about it, there's like different levels. You have all these things, and then it's like when you are a woman, you are like right there at the bottom of it all. And you have your other struggles. So I want, my voice is coming from the marginalized, and it's me shouting out and inserting myself and my community into these spaces. I mean, if you see now, we have crates, we have those cheap blankets, we have workers' overalls. These are objects and things that are familiar to me where I grew up, and things that I would see every day or use every day. And it's a pity the China bag work is not here, but I'm mostly known for the China bag work. So I bring those objects and I put them into these spaces that are elite, and it's me shouting out to South Africa and saying, let us be known, let us be seen, this is us, this is what we use. For example, when I had a show at the Zeitz-Mocha, I covered the entire room with China bags, and it was plastic all around with China bags. So you would walk in, you would experience being in a bag and being suffocated, and you would see how it's like living in a shack, having a home that is impermanent, being in fear of a shack fire and all those things. And it's a gallery at the waterfront. It's fancy, but I don't do fancy. I work with fancy, and I bring in the things that we don't normally talk about, because everybody knows that these things happen, but no one really wants to tap into them. So my art is about making these things seen, visible, and make people think about also their positionality in the world, and how we often just live in a bubble and we forget about things.